Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spitter Rack. Today, I'm here with the boys. You know who they are. Cal and Petey. Say hi to the crew, guys.
Hi, everybody.
You're going to get it.
Today, we are talking about Doomsday Clock, number 12. It's finally done. Oh, my gosh. I can't freaking imagine. Jeff Johns.
2 years in the making.
Right, he promised us just
feel where this is going.
No, this is a year in the making.
He promised it would be done in 1 year. Everything's ready to rock. It took nearly 2 years, I think. Yeah.
2 years total.
A little bit here, So, but hey, is it a good comic? Was it worth the wait? The revelation, were they what we wanted to know? Or is it just same old, same old? So here, I'm going to let my boy Petey start off the whole background on this, and then I'm going to have
I'm not doing the background on that. We have to give that to
No,
Cal.
we're not giving
Cal
it to Cal.
has to do that.
No,
I'm sorry.
Cal can't do
I'm
that.
sorry. He's
Cal,
been paying attention. I don't want to give it to him, but I have to.
What background are we doing?
Yeah, he just want to give an overview of
a quick overview of it, and then we're going to get into the Doomsday Clock too. What the problems are.
Because you just probably have to correct me
I'll
while
make
we
this
do
as quick
it.
as possible. 2011, we had a problem, and it was called New 52. New 52 ran much longer than it should, and it didn't work the way that it should. So DC decided, okay, we've got to switch some stuff up. We got to change things. And how does DC like to do that? They usually like to do that with the reboot, since it worked so well for them in 1986. Great. That ends. We get Rebirth. Okay, Rebirth jiggles the characters a bit. Okay, mostly Superman, but Rebirth jiggles the characters a bit, and so some people that we hadn't seen come back. There's like a little bit of a slight reboot. We see Chief Trevor and Wonder Woman in a relationship again. Superman's back. He's married. He has a kid. Green Arrow and the Black Canary are back in a relationship once more. So those things are happening, but readers are still sort of like, hey, what's supposed to happen? So all of this was supposed to culminate in Doomsday Clock, meaning by Doomsday Clock 12, we were supposed to have a new status quo, and we do, a new status quo for the DC Universe. The trouble is that something happened along the line, and Doomsday Clock was slowed by, the whole Rebirth thing is about 3 years. It was supposed to be 2, and Doomsday Clock was slowed down by an entire year, which means, if you think about it, it took a year to write this issue. Issue number 12.
No.
That is just out of sorts. It's a long time to wait. Is it egregious?
Yes.
There we go at the end of the day. Now, there's your backstory. Let's get into the story proper, and we will judge it on its own merits.
Oh, God.
Wait, I'm just saying, are you blaming Bendis for the delay in this?
No, not Bendis. It's all. There was nothing he said. I just
want to make sure we're not getting that.
No, Rebirth started before Bendis.
No, I'm saying after Bendis because they did the Rebirth, and I'm saying the whole issue.
That whole thing is with Johns and his position in place with DC, which I'm not even 100% sure right now what it is, because it's just been it's all over the place for me. This is not a book that should have taken this long. Johns is a good enough writer. Yeah. Gary Frank is a good enough artist that, I can understand a 3-month delay, but not a year, which means there's other stuff going on that's really slowed him up, and it's probably workload. He's probably too busy with something else.
In Hollywood.
Yeah, and he's probably knocking this out 1 page at a time, 1 month at a time or something. I've been there when it comes to writing, and you're like, look, I can't get this, I just can't get the time to sit down and really do this, and I want to tell a good story.
Well, that's one of the things that I think a lot of fans have gone to is like, the thing that Image likes to say. Image Comics like to say, we're growing a rose here. And we know they weren't actually growing any roses.
No, they weren't growing a rose, they were pushing scat.
The hard part is that when, he's got credits in Hollywood for, I believe, Aquaman and other things.
Well-deserved credits.
He had an executive job, which they took away from him because, they're paying him, he's making money from all the sorts. They had to, kind of lessen his workload, and we finally got this story. So this story is very much a Dr. Manhattan story. Dr. Manhattan is sort of the narrator and sort of interacting in the comic at the same time. He's almost telegraphing what's going to happen. This big fight between he's saying
exactly what's going to happen. People just don't understand.
He keeps telling you this
cryptically,
but at the same time, all the heroes have been taken out. Superman's being attacked by everybody, and he's like, you know what? That's all this stuff's been happening because of me. So what are you going to do about it? And we come into this big climax. We know what's going to happen. We've seen a couple glimpses of Superman winding up saying, you know what? I've had enough of your claptrap. And then ultimately he punches the Russians firestorm.
Yeah, pulls off.
So it's like, and I was really upset by that. But not by that.
That was a trick. We thought
no,
he was
not by
punch
that. But I
Dr.
don't like.
Manhattan,
I don't
and it
like.
wasn't
No,
Dr.
no. I'm
Manhattan.
You
saying.
should have. Nobody
No,
should
no,
have
not
ever
that.
been in that mind state that you thought. He
No,
was
not that
gonna
he was going to punch him.
Dr.
I'm
Manhattan.
just saying
That
that
he could punch Dr.
No,
The question
not.
is,
I
could
didn't.
he
I
ever
wasn't.
punch
Had no issue about the punch. I just like. I thought that there was a regular Firestorm. This is like some. They took Firestorm and it's not the real guy. It's just that it's someone masquerading as was it Ronnie Raymond in the Firestorm, Elemental Firestorm. They changed that character, and I was just like, oh, you're just gonna punch this nobody?
Ronnie Raymond is still Firestorm, but he was in the earlier issues. But
he's
just not. He's not there for this story.
Right.
He won.
Yeah, no, he was in there. That's what I'm saying. He had that
He's on Mars.
lame
He was
one.
on Mars
Gentlemen,
getting beat
gentlemen,
up by Dr. Manhattan with the rest of the Justice
we
League.
digress.
Oh yeah,
Let's
you're
get
right.
back
I
to the
did.
story.
I think
okay?
I just got bothered. I was like,
Okay.
this is the Russian Firestorm.
So the key thing here is that we have this whole comic has been set up that Dr. Manhattan and Superman are going to fight. You know, it's going to be a battle of the ages.
No, it's not necessarily. That's
is.
that's
Yeah,
the
but it's a
subtext.
battle-
That's the
it's a battle of the
subtext that
ages.
there's
It was
a
a
possible.
It was a battle of
the ages.
And, no, it's a
Who-
battle
and who-
of
and who's gonna make it?
ideals. It was a battle of ideals, and that was explained in issue number 10. Now, historically, Superman usually wins a fight one of two ways. Okay, actually, maybe 3 or 4 different ways. But one of the two popular ways, okay, is either one, okay, Superman is able to convince the other person, look, this is not the right thing to do, and this person is inspired by Superman and he wins that way, or he punches it. Okay?
He does the
Okay,
what's the
so
name?
he
The
does the
crisis,
first one then,
punching
right?
the essence of the
Right.
the
And then we had in the
anti-monitor.
Justice League where he punches this he punches the World Forger and cracks the 6th dimension. So after that, after you saw Superman cracking the 6th dimension, everybody was looking at this like, well, my God, what must he, if he can crack the 6th dimension, if he punches, you know, Dr. Manhattan with this fury and this anger, what's supposed to happen? But that would undercut the story because this was about a battle of ideals. Hope versus apathy.
All right.
Well, I think it's going to be more than apathy. But I think the problem here, and I'm not saying there's a problem with the story, the problem that we have to consider in this dog show is that the problem we have to consider is that, you know, they build
You
it
saying
as
they
the-
didn't say
they
that it
build
was
it as
they-
the battle of Dr. Manhattan
good, right?
versus Superman. Okay, and the problem here is that it wasn't what we expected.
Okay, no.
Okay?
I don't.
And so-
Oh, you gotta be
no,
kidding
I
me.
know. No.
How old are you?
All right,
How old
no,
are you?
no.
It wasn't what you expected. What is it, a blind date? How old are you?
I think Dr. Manhattan having the big, cause the fighting characters, even though DC adopted that later, the heroes fighting heroes is very much a Marvel thing. And I think issues earlier, Dr. Manhattan kicking the teeth out of the Justice League. Look, it's a Marvel thing. They already did that a couple issues earlier. So ultimately, I wasn't really into the whole idea of them fighting because, you know, it's like, what's going to happen? They already did everything you could possibly do. Them punching off Dr. Manhattan's head. They did everything, and he survived all that. Not to say Superman or who would win, but ultimately, my issue is that it's more like, you know, basically a scheduling book. Like, all right. Here,
Yeah,
we're bringing back all these characters.
It basically
Here, now because you inspired me, I'm going to bring back all the stuff I took away from your universe when it's just like, here, that means it's more of an editorial thing. We're sitting around here, placing things in here, and then we had this, it turned into, what would I say? It became just a sequel crossover to Watchmen, which was more like a Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, well, that's the villain one. That's the big. Is Superman supposed to be in the bottom of this?
We like this. I was
Was
looking
he?
for
I
it.
didn't think
I
so.
couldn't
I
find
didn't
him at all.
get it. I didn't know why.
He was
it
fighting like 6 or 7 of them.
And this is
But
just a
let-
cool
but-
shot.
but let's give
What's
a-
going on here?
Cal, can you give us a quick
Hold on. Was he?
overall on what was happening in the comic?
Was he piling on here? Because I think he was the only guy left.
Yeah, he was the only guy left, and he was getting piled on. So
Was
can you give us a
Dr.
quick
Man-
overview?
And they
of what-
still couldn't take him out.
Can you give us a quick overview of the
No,
comic?
there's some heroes here. These are heroes fighting some of the villains because over there in the corner.
Yeah.
if
But
you
they're
look up
losing,
here-
they're
if you look
losing.
up here in that
We
corner,
don't
that's
even-
new Superman.
We had to look and we had to figure out what's going on in this scene.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
look
Some
for
of them are
Superman,
new.
so I
All the
look for
good, all the guys you know are
I
beat
couldn't
up
find.
on
I couldn't
Mars.
find Superman. There.
Okay.
Give us a little overview.
Wait. Before that, I just want to finish to say the fact that they're restructuring the DC universe, it turned into the Kingdom for me. If you remember, the sequel to Kingdom Come was the Kingdom, and that created Hyper Time, which was basically saying, oh, this is another editorial thing. And we get a whole new setup saying all of the multiverses back in DC. Now it's saying, oh, we got the JSA back in here, we got the Legion of Superheroes, all this other stuff. And I also like to say,
multiverse is
I like to
recreated.
go to another point of saying, here, look at this effect that's happened. An alpha flight effect of them everything going dark.
You skipped
Oh,
the
wait,
dark
you
there.
missed it.
Oh
You
man, I
missed
missed
the
it.
thing, yeah.
I missed.
That's how
I
much
blew
you
it.
hated it? You skipped it? Yeah.
It's like, but it's a
It
strong
took
effect.
a year to
It's a
write
strong
that
effect.
page.
It's a strong effect going from, and I think Walter Simonson did this in the Fantastic Four using the Ultimate Nullifier, but going from that there to going to a solid black page and then saying we're going back to where we were. And then the other thing is like, wow, like Superman dropped off in all these different worlds in the past.
Hold on.
Well.
Okay. I have no
He's
problem
gonna
with that.
defend.
I have no problem with that criticism. Okay, but again, don't miss out what's going over here. Okay, because again, Dr. Manhattan shuts everything down, and then the last vestiges we see is Superman's S. Okay, then just black.
Because you saw Superman's
And it
S,
starts- and it
and
starts
then you saw
again.
seeing Superman.
And then it starts
You
again
start
with
seeing
what?
the rocket again.
The universe starts again
You
with
seeing
the
the rocket.
destruction of Krypton and the asteroids. So again, it's
You go to
symbolic
the
of the
rock.
DC universe. The DC universe begins with Superman.
There's a blind spot here, and it has an S right
What?
there.
Yes. So, and I got another one right here.
All right, so look,
Looks
gentlemen,
good.
gentlemen,
Looks good.
the question is, was it a good book? I think it was, generally. I think we were sold a bill of goods, though, where they were pushing this whole battle, the ultimate conclusion to the
Okay.
series.
All right,
That was
all
my
right,
problem.
You're just sorry Superman cleaned his clock. That's
What do
all
you
it
mean?
is.
Superman didn't even come close to clean. Dr. Manhattan
He beat
redid the whole
him. He
society.
used his words and beat him, dude. Okay.
He was nice to him.
At the end of the day, what do we get? Okay, we get Superman inspired Dr. Manhattan to do what? To become Superman at the end of the day. He takes
Oh
the
God,
he takes
that
the
hurt.
baby.
That hurt when he said
okay?
it. It hurt.
He takes the baby, and then the baby is going to be raised in a loving environment to become what? The type of superhero that the Watchmen universe never had. One who has hope instead of apathy ruling him. One who just doesn't have dry curiosity, but a beating heart at the end of the day.
All right, so I didn't want to give the end of it, but if we want to go to the big spoiler on this.
He already
whole crap.
did it. They also got a Shala, what's her
What,
name,
we
the
just-
Silver
we just
Surfer,
got, you know,
Shala Bao
spoiler-free?
moment,
This is, but I'm just
where
saying.
he starts getting the.
Oh, yeah, Shala Bao, Silver Surfer
Remember?
one.
Thank you,
Silver
thank
Surfer
you,
number one.
thank you. You knew that one. Great, that's perfect. There's so many
I
other.
stole from that too.
I'm just saying, my whole thing is, like I said, I thought it was a pretty good comic overall. It's just I wonder they're coming with a different expectations, but they're like, this is the ultimate.
He wanted to see the punch. He wanted
And
to see the
I
punch.
wanted to see how in the world the Dr. Manhattan, let's call him what he is, a god, who basically lives in every single time. Whatever time he was born or lived, he was there. He
Well,
can be,
okay.
right? How can he, and he knows what's going to happen before it happens. How is Superman going to possibly defeat him?
One, Dr. Manhattan doesn't know everything because he's been shown that he can't see everything. That's one. Two, he's a god, but he's going against another god in the form of Superman. And
Superman's
Superman
not
is
a
the
god.
central god to know.
Well,
That's
no.
what
Click, I'll give you-
Superman is a god, but he chooses to live as
Oh,
a
God,
human being.
no.
That's where
No,
you
no,
get it
no, no,
wrong.
and I get
Sorry,
No.
Petey. Sorry.
I'm
He's
giving
not
you,
a
I'm
god.
giving you
Yes,
credit.
he is. I know you like Clark.
He's not a
Clark is a
god.
facade.
He's not
In the-
a
in the
god.
DC
That's why,
And
that's why Bendis got rid of him.
In DC universe, he is a god. He is the beginning and the end of the
He's
universe.
a
all right? I
god.
admit that.
Yeah, he's essential.
All right,
Thor,
so-
DC
Odin, and the oldest,
And we all remember
oldest
we
brothers.
Not like
And remember when we went to NYCC, they showed us the timeline that they already started. Remember they were saying they're working on this
Oh,
gigantic
God.
timeline.
My brain is hurting.
And this is where you see they actually start plugging in some of the stuff that they use in the timeline.
But they said
So
Wonder
were
Woman
working on-
started it,
Hey,
and they
okay.
said Wonder Woman started it, not Superman.
No, Superman starts, the whole universe starts with him.
Right.
That means at the time, what does it
But the
first
Age
start
of
with?
Heroes start with.
It
Wonder
starts
Woman.
with Krypton exploding.
my
Everything starts from
gosh.
that. That's
It
your.
goes from-
No,
That's
it
the
starts
moment.
with. We know the DC. It starts with what's
In
it?
the beginning,
Krona.
there was
Krona.
Krypton.
It's Krona.
No, it's Superman.
Oh,
In the
God.
beginning, there was Krypton.
He forgot Krona. He wrote
And it
to-
was not good. So they got Krypton out of there and they bring Superman. No, this page right over here actually teared me up.
Which one?
Because we got over here, Superman's, he's taking it from all sides. And you have to remember as a reader, the only reason why he's taking it from all sides,
Pause. No.
the only reason why he's taking,
He practically lost, dude.
hold on.
No, he survived all
If
that. He
Dr.
got beat
Manhattan-
up a lot.
These guys were
He got
piling on
beat
him
up a
and he was
lot.
still going. But the only problem was what? He's saying there's innocent people around. I can't waste time, okay, trudging with you. We got a nuclear war that's, really on the cusp, and there's all these innocent people around. And that's what he's telling Dr. Manhattan. He's like, I can't do this alone. Meaning, I can fight these guys or I can save the people, but I can't do both. Why don't you do something and step in to help? Okay, and then we get it back, okay, where it's not erased. The fight's still going on. Superman's taking blows over here. For all you people who was like, oh, Black Adam will kick Superman's. No, because he's sitting over here and he's like, look, I gotta try to do the best I can, and I'm on my own. I don't have anybody else helping me. The players who I need are not on the table. Then he's over here and he's like, guys gets pushed away, and he's like, who? Okay, and she's like, you remember us now, don't you, Cal? Imra. And that choked me up because that's what it was supposed to be in the first place. Okay, they did all this stuff
There
in
you go.
2011.
Wait.
That's what we talked about
Yeah.
earlier, and he
They
at least
did
said
all this
Irma.
stuff in 2011. Okay, that's what the DC universe is supposed to be. They did all this stuff in 2011 to isolate him, to make him alone, to make him more alien, to make him less human, and then you're gonna complain about him being a god. This is where it's supposed to be. This was the legacy.
Well, I don't
of
know why did
Superman
they
at the end
take
of
out
the
the
day.
JSA?
let's
Why
wrap
did they
that
take out the JSA anyway?
They didn't take out the they took out the JSA as we knew them and decided to do that Earth 2 business with James
Yeah,
Robinson.
yeah, that nonsense.
So there was still like, okay, it still happened in World War. Well, I don't know.
See,
I don't know.
see what happened. But no, I would say this is a sequel. Like it's an enjoyable sequel. It's not Aliens. It's more, and I need a better sequel. But I keep saying it's
Aliens
Ghostbusters.
was a sequel to Alien. Got
Yeah.
it? Good.
But it's more like Ghostbusters 2. It's like it's enjoyable.
Oh man, that's kind of backhand.
Yes.
Why don't we get to like the 2020, the 2010s at least, man? Who goes
No,
back
we
that
can't
far,
go.
bro?
What do we got? I'm not gonna say Iron Man 2. No.
Ghostbusters 2 was that what's his name? Winston's character was actually a part of the team. That,
Yeah,
that
we had
was
to.
the best
No,
thing.
yeah. But it was the thing is like once you the interactions the chemistry between Jeff Johns and Frank, that sort of stuff comes off the page. Them trying to think there's good stuff here. I just think the editorial part kind of takes away, and the crossover kind of takes away because it's you're just going for we know we're going to be here because ultimately this should be blasphemous, but people are still reading it because they're like, hey. We shouldn't watch this. We shouldn't see before Watchmen. We should read this because hey, we got what we want. We got Superman and Watchmen.
It's the big battle of ideas. Right over there, that penultimate moment where Dr. Manhattan tells him, I screwed up the whole timeline.
The eyes, that was a giveaway, right? No, I thought it was one of your reflections, but it's not. It looks like he's got his what's the name?
Heat vision.
But it's not. Who knows?
Dr. Manhattan comes and tells him, he's like, look, this world that you have right now, this is not the world you should have had. He's like, I screwed up with it. He's like, hey, I even killed your parents. So when you
Yeah.
see Superman getting ready to
Every
take
time
that,
I see that scene,
he's getting ready to take the punch, everybody's like, huh? And then he's like, yeah, no, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to fight with you. I don't have time for my personal feelings, whatever they may be at this point. They're innocent people. That's what matters right there. And again, it's a reminder of what? It's always supposed to, these books for us are supposed to be what? It's about heroism. It's about heroism. It's not about the who beats who in a fight. It's about heroism. And
Well,
that was
they
robbed.
sold it to me and sold it to me. It's, yo, you gotta look at who won. And you sold it to me. Yeah, Superman won. I said, let's go check
He
this out.
won. He won.
he's talking about a fight.
I
He
didn't
said
see. I
the-
did
the
not
fight
see he
is
get
what
his
they were
bucket.
saying.
It's a
He
battle
he was
of
almost dead.
ideals. This is not Superman fighting the Hulk. There's no ideals.
No,
those
but
two things.
he's saying that Dr. Manhattan says you're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you,
And that's
and
it.
then they turn it into, which is like, I guess it's an okay surprise. But I'm saying for the fans that saying, hey, we wanted a knockout, drag out fight like he did when we kicked in the teeth of the Justice League. That's what people are looking for.
No,
And
Chelsea,
what
look,
about let's
Dr. Manhattan is the-
we got to
Dr.
talk
Manhattan is
about
the cynical.
Rorschach. We haven't talked about him. We haven't talked about
What do we need to
Nathaniel.
talk
What
about
about
him?
or
Oz-
Nathaniel.
Ozymandias?
What about we didn't talk about either of them before?
Nathaniel Dusk.
Here,
What
let
about
me-
that? His
Nathaniel
friend?
Dust, Nathaniel
Ozymandias.
Dust, I thought that was actually, that part right over there, I thought was a good ending for him. Where, again, Dr. Manhattan comes back and he has a heart now where he tells the guy, look. And again, he shows how simple it is to affect someone's life. He tells him, don't be afraid to come out. He's like, don't be afraid, of what the situation is. So he comes out, and yeah, he gets a tough time of it, okay? But, as with all things, time passes. He's able to get back into it. He gets a star on the Walk of Fame, okay?
Oh,
and
yeah.
all this stuff happens.
Show
but
that.
all this stuff,
I'm not showing that. Yeah, I'm not showing
instead-
that. But I'm showing the parents. I wanted to go back to the parents. So keep going.
So instead, what does he live? He lives a good and noble life to the end, as opposed to an ignominious death. Because he was trying to be extorted and blackmailed. He stood up to the blackmail. Why? Because again, Dr. Manhattan inspired him through Superman inspiring him to be heroic. Okay.
Now,
to do the other option.
Plata
Wait a second, but-
Bluma.
What? No.
All right.
No.
Now,
Silver or lead? Which one do you want?
now
okay?
Johns is the
If
one
you
that got
blackmail
rid of.
somebody, that's what you're gonna blackmail them.
Okay, all right.
Now,
Wait. Let's
don't
stick
be
with this.
heroic.
Let's stick with it. Now,
Okay.
Johns got rid of
Like
Jonathan Kent. Wasn't Johns the guy who got rid of him? He had this poignant moment where he passed. Was that written by him?
Was that John?
But why would you bring him back then?
Because everything
I
went
don't-
off kilter.
Yeah, but I was just saying, I didn't think they should kill Jonathan Kent. I was glad that I always liked the Kents when they were brought in.
I
and
like
then
the
next
story.
thing you know,
I can live with Jonathan Kent being alive. I can can live with Jonathan Kent being dead. I don't have any issue with that. Taking away all of his human connections, with 2011, that was a mistake. And then, well, the other problem I have with this is I enjoyed the story. As a Superman fan, it would be very hard for me not to. And there's still a lot of stuff in there I enjoyed besides that. But he did stick the landing when it came to what he was doing. And that was this particular battle of ideas. That being said,
here we go.
I
That's
have
what I want to
no
hear.
idea how the hell this fits into the rest of the DC universe. Because you've got, when they brought the Legion back in Superman, these guys show up and they're kind of like, oh, Superman, it's nice to see you, but we're here for him. They act like they don't even know Superman at this point. And what we're seeing here is that, no, Superman once again has a career as Superboy. That means he had adventures with the Legion. They're coming back as teenagers, seeing a grown Superman. Nobody's saying, oh, wow, you know, we're always surprised when we see how you look as an adult. We never get over that. Nobody's saying anything to say there's some connection. The way Bendis is writing it, it's like the first time they've ever seen him.
Wow.
So that right over there is an issue. The JSA, same thing. But
Yeah,
again,
some of
you know,
them.
it's hard for me because I go back to this sequence right here, and I just love that sequence where the Flash comes over and puts his hand on his shoulder. He's like, sorry, we're late, son. And it shows, no, these guys have history. Okay, these guys have a connection. And as much as I love Superman, okay, and I feel Superman can do everything on his own, he doesn't do it on his own, okay? That whole crowd behind him is everybody that he inspires to be bigger and better.
He went back to the villains. Now, I just want to go to this. Like, I never felt that they should have gotten rid of...
this other sequence was... You go ahead. I'll chime in later with my Superboy.
I think that they never should have gotten rid of the Legion and not gotten rid of the JSA, which was running pretty strongly for a number of years in the 2000s. Like, why would they?
I'm gonna lie. I'm sorry to interject, but but that's what they always do with those guys. They
were
let them
going
run
so
strong,
good.
and then we saw Legion series that ran strong, and what did they do? They cut them short. I always said you got to keep that connection to Superboy in the present because it gives them less of an option to do that. With the JSA, same thing. You had All-Star Squadron, you had JSA. Roy Thomas is on. People still love those series at the end of the day. And what do? Oh, no, there's no more Earth 2. Crisis got rid of all of that. So you don't have those stories anymore. We bring them back. And that's a great proving ground for people to go over, do some stories. What's his name? Goyer. David Goyer cut his teeth doing a lot of those stories right over there.
Even before that, during, I think, Burns' run, he had done the JSA in there, and everyone was interested in, like, wow, these guys are cool. And that's the thing. From Crisis, they kind of cut them out. And the next thing you know, when Goyer came on there, you're like, wow, they're back and they're going good. The next thing you know, the Legion has always had a strong following since, you know, they actually had their own set of fans. Even though the X-Men was very cult, they didn't have their own set of fans early on. So it's kind of weird that they would go through this. But the problem is that they could just bring them back instead of doing, hey, this is the story.
Well, I think one of the problems we've done with the Legion is that they haven't done enough to break out some of the individual characters better. You know, over time.
They're just poorly written. Every time they come back, even Jim Shooter did it recently, and it was poorly written. And most of the time you can reflect. I think Jeff Johns has done a reflection back to what was done in the past. But if you look at Jim Shooter's, like right before, I think the last one, he did it. And he's a classic Legion writer. And when he was writing it, you couldn't understand anything. You didn't know where things going. And then Shooter's going on and saying, this is what I found wrong with this guy's art. And it's like, are you trying to make friends here? So the problem, I mean, I think there was a couple of runs after Keith Giffen where they made him a little bit younger and it was a little bit more understandable where the stories were. The fact that everyone decides to make the poster pages with them and saying, as you were saying, you're right. I was saying not do always solo story, but kind of get you connected in. So I'm sorry I corrected you. You're right, where you get to connect with these single characters as you go on instead of just saying, here's a poster page.
But and the poster page looks fantastic. We all love that poster page, right? But the problem then is that I always saw the analog between, like you brought up when you're saying the Legions and the X-Men. The very fact that, you know, you have all these different characters. And the X-Men have always done a very good job of focusing on some of the individual players there. You know, we know about the Professor X, we know Gambit, we know Colossus, well, not Colossus so much, but, you know, Kitty Pryde. They've spotlighted characters, you know, who've come back, Cable, and, you know, you feel the connection.
I feel ensemble. It's a really heavy ensemble comic.
And Wolverine,
to do it.
Wolverine who just on his own, but, you know, and course, Colossus. But my thing is that I don't think the Legion has never been able to do that consistently with all their other characters. You know, where they can
Well,
you can
no,
say let's
they
take
haven't
this one
split,
character
yeah.
and he can go
Yeah,
anywhere
they
and he
haven't
can be. You
figured-
know, they need to do that more.
The Legion, part of that, and then I want to get to this. Part of that is that the Legion starts off. Legion starts up as a backup feature for the most part. Okay, they're backing up Superboy.
Right.
They become more popular. They get their own book, you know, and they'd be like, you can play around with these guys. But then they fall into the same trap that DC falls into with, hey, when we get stuck, what do? Let's just reboot everything, and you know that's how we're going to fix stuff, so nothing counts. With the Legion, and with it's just not them. There are other books like that too. These guys are like, okay, the numbers aren't there anymore. Let's just cancel it. Wait a couple of years, and we'll start all over again. And that has proven to be very detrimental for them over the years. This right over here was another portion that I really enjoyed because this takes back from Doomsday Clock 1, where his father's telling him, look, you know, you got powers. You know, people aren't ready for that type of stuff. Because there was no JSA or anything of that nature. You bring the JSA back in, he's like, well, look, the JSA was over here, and because Jonathan Kent has seen these guys and what they were able to do, he's like, okay, no, if you're ready to go out there and show the world what you can do, go out there. This is the same thing that he needed in Man of Steel, that fatherly support.
I read that and I said, you know what? I knew you were going to bring that up. I said, oh my God, I hope he doesn't say anything about that. I
Is the
read
same
that.
thing. Look, it's no different than three of us being here, okay?